guys, you ready? It is a book club video. You guys are watching this on Thursday. We are talking about The Guest List by Lucy Foley. We are on the final video. We are going to be answering the questions that me and Charmaine filmed for you guys last week. Obviously, there's going to be spoilers. The questions already had tons of spoilers, but now we're going to be really diving deep, telling you guys what we thought of the book and answering these questions for you. So the first one said, this story is told from the point of view of multiple people. Which character were you most engaged with? Which one the least? And yes, the book bounced around between the bride and groom, which is Will and Jules. It also goes to Jules' sister Olivia. It goes to the best man Jono, which is Will's best friend. And then it goes to a woman named Hannah. That one kind of surprised me. Oh, it also goes to the wedding planner as well, which I looked up how to pronounce her name. I didn't have to try to pronounce it. I didn't read the book. I listened, so it just said it automatically, and I didn't really think of it. And then when I was reading the questions, I was like, wait a minute, I'm lost. How do I say this name? So I literally looked it up, and it says that it's pronounced Aoife. Aoife. I actually found this really nice list, and it kind of lists like each character and how they're connected. It'll even list like the location, like it says the Folly, and I'm like, the Folly, that's not a character, but it says right here the wedding event venue on the island. So I thought it was really nice that it kind of has like this nice breakdown. So yeah, so it goes between Will, Jules, Jono, Olivia, so she's the bridesmaid. Did I say Jono already? Will's Jules, Jono the best man, Olivia the sister, which is also the bridesmaid, that woman named Hannah, which I'll get into in 1 second, and then the wedding planner, which is Aoife. So you bounce between like 6 different characters. There might even be like more. That's why I will say, I don't know. I thought it was because it was an audiobook. That might have been a mix of it. I think it was because it was an audiobook and because it was different characters. Sometimes I would be like, wait a minute, who's speaking again? Like it would take me a second. I will say I am like that, even when it's a hard copy, but usually only in the very beginning, and I pick it up very quickly. I will say with the audio, there was times I kind of had to pause and be like, hold on, wait, who's reading again? Like not who's reading, but what character am I on right now? Sometimes I even had to rewind. I would say I actually really liked Hannah. The only reason I point her out is I wasn't expecting her because she's not really related to anyone in the wedding party. That's why I think she's kind of like the outlier. You're kind of like, why is she there? Like, I was surprised that she was like the main point of view. You find out that she is Jules's best friend, Charlie's wife. So I thought Charlie was going to be one of the people. I didn't expect his wife to be. But I did really like Hannah's storyline. The one I probably least connected with was the wedding planner. I see now why she was one of the points of views that was included. But at first I was like, oh, she's just the wedding planner. Like, I want to know about the guests. It's called the guest list. Let's talk about the bride, the groom, and who was invited to the wedding. So she's definitely the one I least connected with. The one I most connected with is probably Olivia. I knew there was more to that story. I was dying to know what really happened. You find out that she's not in university anymore. You find, then you see the scene where she literally attempted to end her life, and you're like, whoa, what happened to this chick? So yeah, that is definitely the ones I connected with the most. It is Olivia. Oh, my phone unplugged. Olivia is the one I connected with the most, and Effie, the wedding planner, is the one I connected with the least. Now, let me go to the next question here. I'm plugging it in because if my phone dies, I don't have the questions. Charmaine's the one that sends them to me, and I tried to be prepared and plugged it, there you go, and plugged it in before I started, but it unplugged somehow. The next one is, let's start with Jules. So Jules is the bride, and it says, why was she so eager to marry Will, despite not knowing him for very long? And why do you think she chose to ignore the letter that said not to marry him? I think Jules cares very much about what she represents to others. That's why she does this big lavish wedding on this secret island. You know what I mean? She wants to be what everyone talks about. There's even when her sister almost attempted suicide, she was actually kind of pissed. She was like, oh, my sister took the attention away from me. And when the guests not paying attention to her, she's like, this is my day. Everyone should be looking at me. So she definitely cares about what people think. She wants to be the center of attention. And I think a lot of that has to do why she married Will. Because Will is an actor, he's well known. He's attractive. He looks good on her arm. I think she thinks it's the perfect arrangement. I also think sex might have a part to play with it, because you find out clearly that he must be really good in bed. Like, I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys, because you find out that he's also slept with, we're getting into spoilers here, okay? That he's also slept with her sister, and he's also slept with Hannah's sister. And he gets these women to do things that they normally wouldn't do. So I don't know, maybe it's not so much in bed, maybe it's his charisma. Like, he just has that way about him, I guess. So I think a mixture of those two things is why she is in a rush to marry him and finalize, like, he's mine, I won him. Like, that's what I think why Jules was in a rush. I think she chose to ignore the letter because she wanted to ignore the letter. She wanted to pretend that everything was okay, that everything was perfect, that she was finally going to get her happily ever after. She was getting the man of her dreams and getting the perfect life that she wanted. Sometimes it's easier to ignore the bad stuff and focus on the good stuff. Sometimes it's the opposite. I think it depends on the person and what you want in life and all that stuff. She was okay with the fake image that they had together, as long as it looked good to others. The next question is, we have Olivia, who is depressed and pretty haunted. When she's describing Steven and what happened, did you suspect it was Will, or were you surprised at the reveal? Do you think she'll ever tell Jules about what really happened with him? So I was surprised and then not surprised. Like, the way she was about, like, Will, I was like, I feel like he's connected somehow. Like, I kept saying, like, at first I was like, is it Will? And then I said, but it can't be Will. His name was Steven. I didn't even think that he could have faked his name. I think because Will's like a well-known actor, that storyline didn't make sense to me. But they kind of say that he just became more known, that he wasn't really known for that long. Like, he just kind of hit his stardom. So it's possible that it was before he was well-known. But that is what kept throwing me off. I'm like, no, she would have known who he was. He's on TV. So I was like, him using a fake name wouldn't have worked. So I suspected it, but then I was like, it can't be. But clearly it was. So it surprised me, but didn't surprise me, if that makes sense. You guys know what I'm trying to say? Let me know down below. Answer that question as well. Answer any of these questions. But I truly thought that, and then I went, wait, it can't be him, because she would know he's lying. She would know his real name because he's an actor. So it surprised me and didn't surprise me, basically. And then, do you think she will ever tell her sister the full truth? Part of me yes, part of me no. Now that the sister knows part of the truth, I think it's definitely easier to tell her the full truth, because I think the sister will now believe her. I don't think it's, oh, she's not going to believe me, so I don't want to tell her, because that's what she was thinking before. Now it's more, how much does she want to share? Does she want her sister? Does she want to share that she had an abortion, that she was pregnant with her sister's husband's baby? Because, you know, abortion is not something everybody just talks about with anybody. And it's also, it might hurt the sister, you know what I mean, to know that she kept that from her, and that it was that serious of a relationship and she didn't tell her about it. So I could see her sharing now that the sister will believe her, but I could also see her keeping it to herself. Definitely curious to see what you guys think about that one. The next question, what did you think about Hannah's storyline? She's horrified to find out that Charlie and Jules slept together after the birth of their child. Do you think Hannah will leave Charlie, or will they get home? So at first I was like, why is Hannah here? She's just like a random character. But she made total sense, because she really showed what an asshole that I was like, not gonna say it, and then said it, that Will is. Because you find out that he threw his friends under the bus for this TV show, and you're like, wow, he's a shitty friend. And then you find out that he basically killed somebody because he tied them up and put them somewhere where they would never be able to escape. I don't remember the order of how you find these things out. I think you find out that first. Then you find out Hannah's talking about her sister and how her sister was enticed by this man in college, and how she did things she normally wouldn't have done, like I just said. And the guy got pictures of her and videos of her, and how it got leaked all over university, and how she quit university just like Olivia did. She's telling Olivia this because she wants Olivia to understand that, it's not just her, that it happens to everyone. And she's saying that her sister ended her life, and which is something Olivia attempted to do during the wedding. She attempted to drown herself. So you understand why she shared this thing with Olivia, because it is a really big thing. It's not something you would tell most people. That was very natural. And the reason that this all connects is because you find out Will was that guy. So that is insane how many lives this man affected. Like, that's literally... Is that the next question? Yeah, you're going to see in the next question. So... Do I think she's going to leave Charlie? What I think, I liked her storyline. I said that in the beginning. Even though I thought she was a random character, I'm glad she was included. I'm not sure if she's going to leave Charlie. I think if they didn't have kids, I think 100% she would. But of course, when you have kids involved, it definitely makes a difference. And they're already struggling financially. I do think it's really fucked up that Charlie cheated on her with Jules. Like, right away, she was like, oh, it was like when you guys were in, high school, right? That's what I would have assumed. I would assume that they had slept together previously, and that's already kind of weird. Like, how do I shouldn't even talk because I'm friends with my ex, but at least my boyfriend knows he's my ex. He knows, obviously, I have a past with him and he's okay with it. But to be friends with somebody that you've had like a sexual past with and not tell your wife is screwed up. But then to find out not only when they slept together was actually when they were married is like really, really hurtful. So I wouldn't blame her for leaving Charlie, but I could see why she might not leave Charlie. That's a tough one. This next question is where I said you literally hear what an asshole Will is. And it says, Will's action caused a murder, a suicide, his best friend's potential job, and an abortion. And an attempted suicide. Did it say that? No, because Olivia attempted to commit suicide. So, a lot of things. Coincidentally, family members, perpetrators, and victims of these 3 deeds all come together for the wedding. Was Will simply a thoughtless jerk, or was he a full-blown sociopath? There's no way he's just a thoughtless jerk. I think he is a full-blown sociopath. I think what he did to Jono, that's the first little inkling you get, the first little bad thing that he did. And you're like, wow, what an asshole friend. And then I'm like, wow. Like, I was listening to this in the car one day with Joe. Joe wasn't really listening to it. He was just driving. And I was like, oh my God, this guy is a fucking asshole. I'm sorry, I know I'm swearing a lot, but I hate him. And Joe's like, what's wrong? And I said, Joe, he threw his friend under the bus. He almost got a girl to commit suicide. Now you just found out he killed somebody. And it just keeps getting worse and worse. Because then you find out that somebody else did commit suicide because of him. He is a shitty human being who does not belong on this earth. So I was not sad when he died. I will say what really threw me off with the book, and that's why I think it took me a little bit to get into it. Because I thought, especially Charmaine, she was like, oh, I finished it in one day. I thought it was going to be one of those books I'm going to pick up, not pick up because it was an app, but I thought I was going to, listen to it all in one shot, and it was not. I actually had a little bit of a hard time getting into it. Now I did really enjoy the book. I think it's a really good book, but I think the reason it took me so long to get into it is most whodunit books start with a murder. There's usually a murder within the first, second, third chapter. Then you're trying to figure out, who did it? This one is a totally different thing because the person doesn't die until the end. And the whodunit is kind of right there at the end. He dies and you find out who did it, kind of not in the same exact spot, but within a chapter or two. So it's almost like it's literally just about the wedding. Like, if you didn't read the synopsis, if you knew nothing about the book, you'd probably be like, okay, it's about this wedding on a secret island. Okay. I think there should have been something like a body was found, and then 2 days earlier or something. I don't know. Or maybe there was and I missed it. It's a little harder when it's audio because it's a little easier to drift off, and I've had a lot going on. If you guys watch my highlights of the week, you'll know why. I'll link it down below because I don't want to get into it. But yeah, so I'm not sad that he died, but you didn't even know who was gonna die. Well, there actually is hints of like a body or something like that, but you don't even know who it is, right? I think they do hint at some kind of, but not in the beginning. Not that I remember. You guys let me know, because I had like a tough month. Maybe it was something in the beginning and I just missed it. But yeah, and then it builds up until why Will's such an asshole, and then you're like, okay, so it must be him that dies. It's just kind of the assumption you make. But yes, I think he is a full-blown sociopath. You guys let me know what you think. The next question, what do you think about the reveal that Aoife, or the wedding planner, is the sister of Darcy? What did you think about her reasons for having their wedding at the island? Were you surprised that she ends up being the one to murder Will? So Darcy is the name of the boy that Will and Jono tied up and like left in the woods. So, and he does eventually die because from how it's explained, like the tide went up. So he basically kind of like drowned. His body was like found and all that. So Jono did not think they were killing him. Jono thought it was like a prank and that he was going to be able to untie himself and get out. And Jono always questioned whether Will knew this. He was like, did Will know that there was a tide? Was Will unaware and trying to make it a prank like me? Or was Will unaware? I mean, was he aware and trying to kill him, or was he unaware and making it a prank? Because I guess Will was cheating on tests, and his father was like the headmaster, so that would have been a big deal, and that this kid knew he was cheating. So Will did have a motive, and Jono wondered about it his whole life. And Jono's like, oh no, he's a good chap, he's a good man, can't be. But then when he finds out that he completely lied to him about this dream job, he realizes like, wow, maybe he's not the man I thought he was. Maybe he did know there was a tide that night. So, yes, so that is the boy that they killed, that they tied up. So you find out that the wedding planner is this boy's sister. So that is why she killed him. Now, it does say she didn't plan on killing him. She got them to the island because she just wanted to see who was responsible, maybe talk to him, because he completely changed their life. She said, my mom was basically dead and buried after my son died. Her mom was like never the same. Makes sense. She lost the child. It definitely changed her whole life. She never got to... Well, she did confront him, obviously, because she ends up killing him. But she didn't even need to have a full conversation with him. She actually walks in on Will and Jono talking about this exact night and overhears the whole thing. And she realizes that he has no remorse. So she's like, fuck him. You know, he killed my brother. He has no remorse. I'm going to kill him too. So it wasn't exactly planned, but she definitely got him to that island for other preconceived notions. Is that the word I'm looking for? Sorry guys, I'm talking a lot here. She definitely had a secret motive to get him into the island, is what I'm trying to say. And that's why she offered such a cheap rate for their wedding, because she was literally going to make no money off that wedding, but she wanted to get him there. And Jules thought it was just because, oh, well, he's a famous actor. I'm an editor to a magazine. I'm getting her exposure. So that's why she's giving me this good deal. But really, it was to get him there to confront him. And ultimately, she killed him. So, I was not surprised that she killed him. I think that's why they made her one of those points of views, because she is the murderer. So I think it's smart to have as one of the points of views, although it confused me in the beginning. I'm like, who is she? Who cares? But you find out she's actually a really big part of it. I wouldn't have expected her. I would have expected more like Olivia or Jules, because Jules found out the truth. I do wish there was more time in between where Will dies and they where Will dies and you find out who killed him. it would have been more like suspenseful, like, oh my God, who did it? There's so many different points of view here. But once he dies, you find out pretty quickly who it was, but it didn't surprise me. Why does Jono take the blame for the murder at the wedding despite being innocent? Do you think the truth will ever come out about Alpha, right? Alpha, the wedding planner. I think he takes the blame because he feels really guilty about Darcy. He literally said that to Will. He said that he was losing sleep over it, that he was having dreams about him, like things like that. He said it was something that's been eating him up for years, and he doesn't know how it doesn't bother Will. That's why I think Will's a sociopath. So I think he's like, oh, it's not the right person, but it's a person. I can admit to this crime. I can be I can receive some kind of punishment and kind of clear him of his sins. I think that's why. And he also feels he's an easy target. So he figures it's easy enough that he'll be believed and he can finally be punished for what he did. I think that's why he took the blame. Do I think the truth will ever come out? No. Unless Jono really says I did not do it and maybe they look more into it. But as long as he's okay with being the scapegoat, I don't think the truth will ever come out. Unless Alpha starts to feel some guilt. But I don't really see that happening, honestly. And then, let's see. Was I satisfied by the end? Like I said, I do wish there was more build-up between the... when they find out who... When you find out it was Will that was murdered, because for a while you don't even know who was killed. You just keep waiting to find out, because you know one of them, you know someone at the wedding was killed. So I wish there was more of a suspenseful build-up between that. But I did like the ending. And then the last part that we do is we pick actors and actresses that we think would play the characters really well. So we do the bride Jules, the groom Will, the bridesmaid Olivia, the best man Jono, and the +1 Hannah. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. I did not really think about this. A lot of times I kind of imagine a character as I'm reading. I don't know why. I have been on a nanny kick. I love The Nanny. It was one of my favorite shows back in the day, and I have been rewatching it. I actually mentioned her already for other casts in a book I read. I think it was The Silent Patient. I recommended her for Alicia, but I thought about her for Jules. So this is the actress that played the daughter in The Nanny, and every time they talked about Jules, I just imagined her. The rest of the characters, I honestly didn't really imagine people. I think because I was listening to it. I find when it's audiobook, I'm not getting into it as much. I still enjoy a good audiobook, but I definitely, now I know I prefer a physical copy. So let's kind of do it off the cuff. So let's see. The groom, Will. Who do we think would play a good asshole? You guys let me know definitely down below what you guys think. Because he's supposed to be like a really handsome man, right? I'm trying to I just typed in actors into Google and I'm seeing who comes up to play Will. Interesting. I'm thinking, I'm going to say thinking out loud, but I'm not even thinking out loud. The two people that play Spider-Man came up. Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. Oh, he played a good asshole in, not this guy. Sorry, guys. In, what's it called? Over My Dead Body or something like that. It's on Netflix. And it's James Marsden. So let's do that. We were going to do James Marsden right here. He's on the cover of JQ. He is a handsome man. He got World's Most Handsome Man. And he does play a good asshole. So I'm going to put him as Will. Let me see. Maybe I will do Tobey Maguire as Jono. I liked Jono's character. He was a nice guy. I feel bad. I feel like he got the shaft. So we will do Tobey Maguire for Jono. Let's see what the other characters were. Olivia, Hannah, and then the wedding planner. So, what do we think for Olivia? Olivia was like the younger sister. Let's do Olivia Wilde. They share the same name, right? Why not? Let's see. I'll show you guys who Olivia Wilde is in case you don't know. One of the first things I ever saw her in was House. She wasn't in the first few seasons. She was like added on later, and now she has blown up and been in tons of like movies and TV shows. But back in the day, she was just a doctor on House, and for some reason, my phone is not loading now. Olivia Wilde. Here she is. Right here. So I will imagine her. We will say her for Olivia. And now we need a Hannah. Let's do... I have the name in my head. I have the face in my head. I'm not good with the names. Ashley Benson for Hannah. That is, and I think because her name is Hannah on Pretty Little Liars, and that's why it's coming up that way, honestly, guys, for me. And then Aoife, who would be a good woman killer? A woman who kills. Oh, and I have low battery on my phone, so we definitely need to plug in my phone. Ooh, I like this. And we are going to do Jennifer, is that how you say her name? Goodwin as Aoife. I like that. So I think that is all of them, right? Yeah, we did the wedding planner. We did the +1. We did Jono, Olivia, Will, and Jules. So yeah, that is all the questions. We're going on to almost half hour here. There was definitely a lot to talk about with this book. When you guys are watching this, I think the voting poll is still up. Don't quote me, but definitely go check out the voting poll. So we can pick the next book. We are picking books that are written by queer authors and about queer characters. Definitely go check out Charmaine's. I know I can't wait to see what she thought about this book. Like I said, I know she literally listened to it in one day. I know her mom wants to listen to it next because she told me, she's like, oh, when you're done with it, let me know so my mom can listen to it because we all shared the app. Thank you, Charmaine, for that. That is it for this video. I will link the book club down below if you guys want to check out the book club. And that's basically it, guys. Like I said, answer the questions down below. Let me know if you enjoyed the book. Give it a star rating. I would give it a 3.8. I don't know. Part of me doesn't want to give it a 4, but I don't want to give it a 3.5. Maybe a 3.8, 3.9. It's definitely a different style for whodunit, but I did really end up liking it. I was really shocked. I wasn't super shocked about him being Steve or her getting like an abortion, but like I was shocked about the Darcy thing. I was shocked about the Aoife thing. So there was definitely, and it takes a lot to shock me because I'm usually good at guessing things. And so there was definitely some moments where I was like, oh my God. So when I say, oh my God, I like the book because it got me. There was definitely some twists and some turns. I kind of would have liked if Jules was the killer. Like she avenged for her sister. But yeah, that is it for the book. You guys let me know what you thought of it down below. Go check out Charmaine's video. Go check out our book club. Go check out our community tabs. You guys know I do vlogs, reviews, unboxings, hauls, try-on videos, self-care, outfits of the week. I post 7 days a week. If any of that sounds good to you, definitely consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell. If you like this video, you like book club, you like me or Charmaine, give the video a thumbs up. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. Peace. Be safe, guys.